All right, it says we're live. Let me double check real quick. Come. All right, first and foremost, we're gonna give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Kakwadash. That will honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well. Peace and blessings to the elect out there that's pushing this word in all truth and sincerity. All right, I'm the brother Zahab from the GMS Memphis camp, and I'm with the brother
I not from GMS Dallas.
Khan, and we're just this lesson is going to be called UFOs according to the Bible. All right, and just to give background information before we go into this video that I'm going to leave down in the description, and before we go into the scriptures, just to give some background information. The Pentagon has came out and released, it's no secret anymore. They came out and said that these so-called UFOs are real. And in the scriptures, they're not called UFOs. They're called chariots, clouds. What else are they called? Pillar of fire by night.
Right.
But
Pillar
yeah,
of fire, but the pillar of fire. The cloud by the day. So.
Sure. Yeah, so without further ado, they're the vehicles of the angels, and they're coming back to do two things: to destroy and to deliver. Destroy the wicked and deliver the righteous from the Most High's wrath. So you want to get into 2 Ezra 13 first, or you want me to?
I just had a preset backing up some of the names of the chariots.
Okay.
Like we quoted in Exodus 13, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is okay, kind of. It might be a little bit of a lag, but Exodus chapter 13, verse 21, it says, "And Yahweh went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud to lead them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light to go by day and night." Now, it may have been, of course, it's possible the Lord can bring down fire, but there was no light bulbs back in the ancient world. So they described it. They described the best way possible. If you saw a chariot back, before there was any electricity that was discovered, or any TVs or anything that could fly that wasn't an animal, you gonna try to describe what you saw, So that happened a lot of times in the scriptures. Ezekiel, the first chapter, is a great example of that. If we have time, Lord willing, we can go into that too, because that's a whole nother explanation. The scriptures talk about the so-called UFOs. You got it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, even in modern day time, we still don't have the full vocabulary to really describe, chariots like that, because like the video that the brother sent me, the way they try to describe it is that, it's like a triangle, it has lights, and it splits into two. Like, yeah, like we still lack the vocabulary to really fully grasp like what's going on. And also in that scripture, when you go into the word pillar in the blue letter, I don't know if you're in the blue letter or not, but of course, see if you can find, because of course it says physically, a column, like a pillar, like a column, like a support beam, but also figuratively it can mean support. So just like how Esau says like air support, he calls them his air support, or his eyes in the sky. Like that's how those chariots were used: a pillar of cloud by day, or a support of cloud by day to give them shade, and then by night a pillar of fire or a support of fire. And like he said, it's most likely just light, a support of light for their path to be shine when they're traveling by night, see where they're going.
Yeah, I'm looking for this explanation here. So the word in the Hebrew, let me make sure I pronounce it properly. Uh, the word in the Hebrew is imawad, Strong's H5982 for pillar, and it means it's used as pillar 109 times. Also meaning a column, a platform. Now, if you go to the root word is imad, which means to stand, um, to stand, to establish. Let me see here. To stand upright, you know. So pretty much, that was like it wasn't a physical pillar of fire, again, because it says a pillar of if you go to that scripture, same scripture, it says a pillar of a cloud. So was it actually a cloud, a pillar made of clouds? No, it was shade. It was if you see a cloud, if you see a cloud or something or a thick cloud hovering over an area, okay, it's going to be shade underneath that cloud. So how much more a solid object like a chariot is going to have that? It's going to be bright all around, but it's going to be shaded in that area underneath the chariot. Same thing with the beam of light, So it's looking like it's standing up. So I love the Hebrew language too, man. The root words are really dope to look at. But I know we had Second Ezra 13 hell. So do you want to get into that one next? Okay. I wanted to start really where it talks about the parable, and then it breaks it down later on in the chapter. So I'm gonna pretty much just start closer towards the beginning of the verse. This is Second Ezra chapter 13. Excuse me, the beginning of the chapter. Second Ezra chapter 13, and I'll start at verse 6. It says, "But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not." So again, this is Ezra seeing a vision of did you ever see the new Independence Day yacht? The new Independence Day, not the first one, but the newer one that they made a few years ago. And at the beginning of the movie, that gargantuan mothership that had its own gravitational pull, like is on that level of largeness, because you got to imagine from a perspective of a man who the biggest thing you might see flying in the sky is a big vulture or something. You seeing a huge chariot just float over you in a vision, you're gonna describe it the best way you can. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to put yourself in a situation. Like, bro, they saw the chariots, bro. Like, not no little, far away chariots. So where it's like, that could be a. And by the way, there were no planes back then. So they weren't used to seeing stuff flying in the sky, anything outside of stars. So imagine how captivating that was to see something like that. But this is how big the fathership, as we say, Esau, like I said, the mothership, but really it's going to be ordained by the Heavenly Father, to start the invasion, But did you want to play a piece of the video or anything like that? Because
I can. Did you want to?
Yeah, I don't mind. I was going to say, if you wanted to, you can, or if you wanted to just talk about it. But it does make some good points. Like, we don't have to play the whole video. But if you wanted to make, some talking points off of it, we can. If not,
I'd rather just talk about it and then leave the video in the description.
Okay, con. Awesome.
But
did you want me to keep going? I have some more if you want to say.
Keep going.
Okay. All right. This is back in Second Ezra chapter 13. I'm gonna read verse 7 again. It says, "But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven." So he likened Ezra's likened this pretty much a mountain. He likened this mountain and he likened the chariot unto a mountain and unto a hill. Okay, because mountains don't fly. If you read verse 6, actually I'll read verse 6 again. It says, "But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain." First of all, how do you when you grave something, like, you dig it up? So you can't dig up a mountain out of the platform, out of the landscape of the earth, and fly upon it. Like, it's talking about something else. You see what I'm saying? Like, you got to extrapolate. Like, okay, what is this talking about right here? Oh, okay. Otherwise, like, how can you can't dig a mountain up and fly on it, bro? Like,
And also mountains are symbolic for like big power structures like governments. So him like flying on top of some massive and powerful like that, it just really, kind of gives that illustration of like how powerful Yahweh Shai is when he comes back. That he's coming back with like on top of a government structure almost.
Well, through the chariots, taking over the government structure of Esau, that new government is going to be ushered in. It actually reminds me of Daniel the fourth. Let me see. Excuse me, Daniel the second chapter. If you don't mind me getting another one, bro.
Yeah, go ahead.
Daniel chapter 2 at the end, verse 44, I think. Yeah, this is Daniel chapter 2, verse 44. It said, and in the end of these, and in these days, let me read again. Daniel 2 and 44. It says, and in the days of these kings shall the Most High of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. So through the power of the chariots, like we read in Isaiah 66 and 15.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah, kind of through that fierce anger of Yahweh Shem Shai taking over the enemies of the Lord, taking over his enemies. The Lord's going to use Yahweh Shai to take over the Edomites, man. Take over this power structure. Okay. And when that happens, it's not going to go to reverse. Like the scriptures say in Malachi, the first chapter, Esau has the Most High has torn, but Esau has building it back up. Esau building back up his his infrastructure. He built it up in the Renaissance period. Say again.
Yeah. You want me to grab Malachi?
Yeah, we can. I mean, I don't want to get too off topic, but
okay.
Ultimately, this kingdom, once it goes down, it's not coming back, man. Okay, so that's the point I wanted to make. I know we had other precepts, so.
Yeah, I'll grab that Isaiah 66 and 15.
Come on,
all right, and it reads, for behold, the Lord Yahweh by Shem Yahushai will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire.
So why doesn't the Christian church teach you this in Sunday school? Because this is gonna give the children nightmares. It's gonna give the women a tip to go ahead and find another church. Okay, because you're not here. This is not a feel-good scripture, man. This isn't a scripture that's going to appease everybody's wants and everybody's intentions. This is specifically towards the Israelites. Those are the only people that the Most High is going to preserve, man. And only 1/3 of them, not even the whole nation. Okay, everybody else, especially in America, is getting ready for a rude awakening, man. And even the 1/3 has to go through it. When you read Zechariah, this last point I'll make, we can go back to the main topic. But when you read Zechariah the 13th chapter, it talks about in the 8th verse, it talks about the 2/3, and then continuing on into the 9th verse, it talks about the elect, the 1/3 being purified during that process. So we all got to go through Jacob's trouble, in a movie that goes into what we're talking about is what's that one that it wasn't Brad Pitt, that Tom Cruise was in, War of the Worlds. That movie War of the Worlds is a good illustration of that. So you got that.
Yeah, can. I'll read it again. Isaiah 66 and 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind, and highlighting plural chariots because he's coming back with his heavenly host. Also going back to the point that we made earlier with that government structure. It says to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. And Yahushua also said, "What will I if it be already kindled?
Mm-hmm.
Think not that I have come to send peace on earth, but uh, fire. And what will I if it be already kindled?" Because the nuclear warfare is gonna, already be popping, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why the chariots are gonna need to be, the vehicles of divine intervention, because the
Mm-hmm.
chariots can do things that, are outside of our realm of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
They can multiply, shrink, expand,
Mm-hmm.
withstand carnal
They're
force.
invincible, bro.
Yeah.
Ain't no chariot, and that's what Esau have you think. Esau gonna have you think that, oh yeah, we was the Area 51 over there in Nevada, whatever state, Arizona, whatever. Yeah, we shot down, or one UFO ran out of gas in 1959, and we just got that motherfucker just sitting up. Like, no, bro, that's that Esau don't. There's no crash landing UFOs, man.
Hmm.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Oh yeah. I was just gonna say, like, when I first heard that the Pentagon had said, like UFOs are real, but they're gonna wait a while to release all their documents. I was like, why would he do that? Because like he's been releasing footage throughout this
Mm-hmm.
period, but he hasn't been releasing like what they think that they are, or what their plans are against them, or whatever. And I was thinking about it. I was like, man, it makes sense though, because now you got everybody on social media talking about what they might be. So he's really just letting the masses deceive themselves, come up with their own theories about what they think that they are. Because like all the theories, you see that are outside of, Great Millstone. People are saying they're demons. People are saying that, the government made them. People are saying that it's China, Russia, everything but, Yahushua's angels,
Mm-hmm.
which
Mm-hmm.
further proves that, uh, uh, the masses are going to try to fight against Yahushua. They lack that understanding that these are going to are supposed to save the Israelites, man. Like these
Kind,
are vehicles of deliverance, you
kind.
know?
Well, they're vehicles of destruction to the enemy. You know,
Kind
so that's why Esau again try to paint them in a negative light, because they are truly not for him.
kind
But Jake watching Esau thinking that everything that he says is right, just along with the Big Bang and evolution and all this madness, all of his pseudoscience, and saying, oh yeah, the UFOs are real, but they're bad, they're not for us. Or Jake be cooning after Esau too hard, man. Read the
yeah.
scriptures. I mean, especially the ones that we bringing out, like it got to be something. Riding upon a mountain, flying upon a mountain, a pillar of cloud. Like, what is this talking about? I got another one too, if you don't mind, bro.
Yeah, let me read verse 16, and then
Mm-hmm.
I'll pass it back.
Come.
Isaiah 66:16. For by fire and by a sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. Just hammering on the point that, hey man, these chariots are no joke. When Yahushua returns on these chariots, it's like, although like we're saying that they're vehicles of deliverance for the elect and for the 1/3 of Israel, but they're not to be taken lightly. They're coming to do a job, and that job is to destroy, the powers, the wicked powers that be.
Okay. I'm actually looking at this Hebrew word for chariot in Isaiah 66:15, and it's Strong's H4818, Marakaba, and it means, it's translated literally into chariot every time that it's used. I'm trying to see like some instances where, let me see here, but it's a lot of times it is talking about physical chariots. I'm trying to see an example if it's going to mention anything else, but it's not really going to say anything else. But the root word does say a little bit more. So the root word is marakab, which is a chariot, a saddle, covering. Let me see, riding seat. Okay, that really don't
Covering,
even. Mm-hmm. Right,
because that goes
like a
back.
saddle covering.
Saddle cover, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let me see. And then this one right here, rakab, is the root word of that root word. which means to ride, to be carried. Let me see, to sit and ride, to mount on top of something, to dispatch, you know. So that's the when you think of a chariot, that because actually a chariot, like an actual chariot, is like a horse,
Or
and
horse and buggy.
you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying, you riding in the back. You know, we seen Prince of Egypt when in the beginning when they were riding, racing the horses, and they had that little. That's a chariot. That's what a chariot is, traditionally. But the word chariot is used in the Hebrew. Think about this: the same word in the Hebrew that we translate into, that we read about when we say chariots, comes from that same word. Rakab is the root word of marakaba, which is what we read as chariots. And when you have a ma at the beginning of a word, I'm getting a little technical. When you have a ma at the beginning of a Hebrew word, it talks about it basically can be translated into, because it's a prefix, so it connects to the root word being rakab, and the prefix is ma. So when you have ma at the beginning of the word as a prefix, it means from or of. So basically, almost in a sense, you could say is likened unto a chariot, or it's of a chariot. It's a type of chariot, you know, because it's not really a chariot, but that's the Hebrew
It's
word
the
that's
concept.
given when they wrote it. You see what I mean? Because they
'Cause
know somebody's riding in it. They know it's being controlled. You know. So I mean,
that's deep, because when you look through, you know, the first car was a chariot, like, and then as
the word
technology,
car. I'm sorry, no, finish the point, slacking, bro.
yeah, car comes from the word chariot, and as
Carriage.
carriage, yeah, and then as technology advanced, you know, they started, you know, locomotives, you know, and then they went to, I think locomotives were before the Ford cars, and then, you know, they got bigger cars, faster cars, and then once they started planes, those are just really flying carriages, you know, because it does the same purpose. It's by means of transportation. So, and that's why, you know, like I said earlier, like our vocabulary is still limited to describe, you know, chariots, the vehicles of the Lord. You know, that's why we just keep it simple. They're the vehicles of, you know, the angels in the Lord, you know, because to an unknown person, when they try to describe it, they'll say, "Oh yeah, it's like a spaceship." That's because, hey, that's the furthest advanced chariot, you know, man has built, Esau has built. So they still liken it onto that vocabulary, you know.
Yeah, a spaceship. Think about that. Really, in the kingdom, you think we're gonna be calling them spaceships, bro?
No.
You know what I'm saying? Because a spaceship. Think about a spaceship. That's a compound word. A ship. Our ships. Think about it. So it's the same thing with. I just made that connection. Just kind of had a little epiphany. Like, we say spaceships nowadays, but the word marakaba is like the word spaceship back then, because it's saying of a carriage, you know, or from a chariot. Excuse me, of a chariot, from a chariot, likened unto a chariot. Same thing with spaceship. A ship. If we think of a ship, you're gonna think of a boat that floats in the water.
Yeah.
But it's not a boat. We're just comparing it to that because it had lights on it and it flies, though. It's a flying boat, like, you know.
Yeah.
You know. So that's the words that we use, like, just to prove your point. The words that we use, it's not really gonna be able to describe what it actually is. You know what I mean?
And Yahushua said that. He said, no eye hath seen, nor ear heard, nor entered into the minds of men the glory which is going to be revealed in us. People can't wrap their heads around these so-called UFOs, these chariots. You know, the divine intervention of Yahweh B'Shem Shai. They can't wrap around. We have carnal minds too. Like, our brains are carnal. They can't function at, you know, 100% spiritual capacity, you know, so to speak.
Yeah.
That's why
our body's working against us. Our body has its own mechanisms and ways to stay alive, you know, but outside of that, that's just what it's built for subliminally. But you have partial control over it. But in the kingdom, it's gonna be way better of an experience than this.
Um,
You know.
yeah, and then in the video that I'm gonna leave in the description, like you can see videos of these chariots doing miraculous things. Like the one that was going at a high speed and then went and just like dove into the water,
Mm-hmm.
and then two popped up out. It like multiplied in the water and then shot back up. You're like, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, even though
But
we understand that it's like the Lord's work doing it,
mm-hmm.
it's still miraculous and like mind-boggling to look at.
Con. And if I may add, these are the same videos that Esau is releasing, bro. This isn't some, you know what I'm saying? Like this ain't he declassifying it. He like, okay, yeah, this was submitted by a certified,
Hmm.
Marine, random, Edomite from Wisconsin somewhere. He
Yeah.
over there
Well, that,
filming the video of a chariot
well,
going over.
in this video, one of the news anchors, she actually like made the point that the videos in that video, she was like, these are just videos that the Marines and um, Air Force have like, like well-trained Navy officials and Air Force officials have caught on camera. These aren't just the, middle of nowhere stories where people like bug out because
Mm-hmm.
they say that they've seen stuff and
Mm-hmm.
have felt stuff and recorded stuff. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
so we really don't know all of what Esau knows yet. But
Mm-hmm.
that's why, hey man, June's gonna be exciting.
It's
You know,
June.
it's June.
Man, we gonna run that into the mud, bro. How can you say ain't no microchip, man? Anyway, that's like saying ain't no chariots.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway, um, was that it? Was that your point on in Isaiah?
Yeah.
66.
Okay.
Okay, this is another one in Psalms chapter 104 verse 5. Actually, I'll start at verse 3. Psalms 104 and 3, it says, "Who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot." This is talking about the Most High, Yahweh. If you read verse 1, it says, "Who walketh upon the wings of the wind," meaning that he is able to have vehicles that allow you to walk on the wind, so to speak. You floating, you flying, you moving without having your feet on the ground.
Okay.
And he has vehicles for that. The angels get around in those vehicles.
Yeah. Elijah. Elijah was taken up by a chariot.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
A
That
big attic.
actually, yeah. Was that in 2 Samuel?
Second Kings chapter 2.
I'm tripping. Yeah, that's Elijah. I'm sorry. 2 Kings chapter 2. Okay. Yeah, this is it right here. This is 2 Kings chapter 2, and let's see. Ooh, I'm gonna start at verse. Verse 10. It says, "And he said, Thou askest a hard thing." 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 10. It says, "And he said, thou hast asked a hard thing. Nevertheless, if thou see me when I am taken from thee, it shall be so unto thee. But if not, it shall not be so, because Elisha had asked for Elijah's mantle. Well, he had asked for a double portion of Elijah's spirit, which he
Yeah.
ended up getting Elijah's mantle after he got taken up. But the next verse, it says, "And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire." So let's look up and see what the word there is in the Hebrew. A chariot. It says a chariot of fire. So was it a horse and a man in the two-wheel thing with the thing attached to the back of the horse? They was just on fire standing. What was going on? It says horses. Let me see here. Hold on. Okay, chariot. Yeah, Rakab. Ooh, matter of fact, Rakab. Let Let me read the text real quick. Where is it? Rakab Ash. It says Rakab Ash, bro, in the Hebrew. Rakab, which we know means a chariot, and then Ash is fire. So chariot fire, or a fire chariot is literally what the text is, what the text says. Well, if you translate it into Hebrew, from Hebrew, it says Rakab, and then gives a little dash, and then Ash. So basically, like I said, a chariot of fire. That's the literal translation. So I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read the verse again. It says 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 11. And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. So was it actual horses of fire? And then it says, and parted them both asunder. The horse of fire walk up and split them apart, and then cause a tornado to come on, man. You gotta impict, it's describing something.
Yeah, and then also horses are symbolic for power.
For power, yeah. So you can imagine, but it's like you'll see, Jake. We'll watch movies talk about X-Men, have all these special effects and all this stuff, and think that the Most High is not capable of actually creating real life scenarios. If he has a chariot, he can't have it look miraculous when you get beamed up. Probably, looking all types of stuff that we're not even able to think about as far as the description and visualization of it.
Yeah, because just in the video that I'm gonna link, it shows different types. There, they're like triangular ones, like oval shaped ones, football shapes, like different shapes. So yeah, it's an easy thing for him to actually make a chariot that looks like a horse and buggy if he really wanted to.
Yeah, but it's not talking about.
Yeah, but it's not.
It's talking about an actual so-called a flying saucer, like that wheel within the wheel. In Ezekiel, the first chapter, I know we mentioned that, and then you got, like you said, you mentioned different shapes in the book of Zechariah. It talks about the flying roll. Is that the 5th chapter? Let me see.
I believe so.
They talk about this is the curse. Let me see.
You go without over the whole. Yeah, 5th chapter.
Yeah.
I got it. You want me to read it?
Yeah, we can get it real quick.
Okay, this is Zechariah 5:1. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof is 10 cubits.
Right. So that flying roll, was it talking about, again? I mean, it's like that's like saying when the scriptures, when the Most High told Ezekiel to eat the roll, did he actually did he take all the scriptures that was comprised of that time, and did he just munch on them, bro? No, it's symbolic. You have to have discernment to be able to understand. Is this literal talking? Like, what does this mean? It's dark. It's called a dark saying in Proverbs, the 1st chapter. But that flying roll is a chariot. Okay, it talks about when he described the length of it, 20 cubits, which cubit is a size as a form of measurement. 20, let's say this 20 cubits, and then that's the length, and then, or you can say like this long, and then the breadth of it was 10 cubits. So it was like cylinder type, like a actual scroll is like a cylinder. That's what he was describing the dimensions. So, and it might not have actually been 20 cubits, because that's really not that big. It might have looked like it was that big from however far away he's seen it. Yeah. But the point is, there's different shapes, So, that's it.
You want to go back to 2 Kings 2?
Yeah, I can keep reading here. Well, pretty much that was the actual verse, but I can read afterwards.
Did you already read 11?
I did. I can read again. This is 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 11. It says, and it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven.
Yep. Yeah, I remember you read that now.
Mhm.
It came back to me as you're reading it, but
Mhm.
go on.
Yep, yep. And it says in the next verse, guess what? It says, and Elijah saw it because, Elisha saw it, and he cried, my father, the chariot of Israel, and the horsemen thereof. And he saw him no more, and he took hold of his own clothes and rent them in two pieces. You know,
Mm.
so hey, man, Elisha identified it. He understood what it was. He knew that was the chariots of the Most High. You know.
Oh. And then he also had another encounter with chariots in 2 Kings, the 6th chapter, with his servant, which I'll get it. This is 2 Kings 6, and um, it's kind of like a longer story. So,
Oh,
brothers
you're
that are
talking about
listening,
Salakia. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, for brothers that are listening, I encourage brothers to read, 2 Kings, the 6th chapter, to get full understanding of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm
Start
just
like
going to
verse
jump.
8. That's where it starts, I think, if I'm not mistaken. You're talking about this account where the Most High, the angels of the Lord, blinded the eyes of the
Yeah.
yeah. What is this? The Armenians.
The
Yeah.
Syrians.
Yeah, that's a good part to read too. Did you want to actually get it, or did you want to just mention it?
I was just going to get to the point where, like,
Okay.
his servant, they're kind of bugged out. His servant was kind of bugging out because uh, they were surrounded by enemies.
Yeah, I got it. If you want, I can read it. It's verse 15.
Okay, come on, go ahead.
Okay, this is 2 Kings chapter 6, verse 15. It says, and when the servant of the man of the Most High was risen early and gone forth, behold, an host compassed the city both with horses and chariots. Now, this is actually talking about real life horses and chariots. Now, because they were talking about men that have these, came up, coming up against Elisha. It says the city was and hosts compassed the city both with horses and chariots. And his servant said unto him, alas, my master, how shall we do? So imagine that you in a city back then in the ancient world, it wasn't as big as, downtown Dallas or, I know other downtowns are smaller, but it had walls around it. Think about, Game of Thrones or whatever. It might have had a gate or a couple gates to where you could get in, but that whole circumference of that city was compassed around about with horsemen. So it wasn't no 20 people coming up. It was a multitude of, just for those, really for that one man. But, continuing on, it says in verse 16, and he answered, fear not, for they that be with us are more than they that be with them. Do you want to break that down, bro?
Yeah, I mean, keep reading because it kind of.
Okay, Khan. Verse 17, it says, and Elisha prayed and said, Yahweh, I pray thee, open his eyes that he may see. And the Lord Yahweh opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elisha.
Mm-hmm. And that's the angelic force that encompasses the Lord's elect. Although you can't see them all the time, and even whenever you try to record them, they don't even show up.
Man.
And then, bro, there's one account I came across where this army, like Esau's army, was at a nuclear base. They're guarding like some nuclear researcher or something, and bro, the chariot was it was hovering over a squad that went to go check on them, and then all communications cut off. And they said that where they were at, like only like 5 or 15 minutes had passed, but the people that were on the watchtower that were seeing them, seeing the chariots, because the squad that went to go check on it, once they showed up, the chariots disappeared from them. The people at the watchtower could still see them, so they tried to communicate them, but the chariots cut off the telecommunications, and
Mm.
they said that 45 minutes to an hour had went by. Meanwhile, the squad that went out, they had their clock was still working, but they said they could have sworn that only 5 to 10 or 5 to 15 minutes had passed. So the
Damn.
chariots can operate outside of time. They can operate outside of your vision.
Mm.
They all powerful. So
Mm.
although you can't see them, hear them, document them,
Mm-hmm.
they're Yahweh Shema Shai is dealing, man.
Bro, imagine why were the nations so scared when they heard about Israel coming out of Egypt, and they heard that this power Yahweh had delivered the Israelites out of Egypt. It wasn't just because Pharaoh had let them go, bro. They were seeing the chariots. You know?
I'm gonna have to get Jeremiah now.
God.
Now that you
Yeah.
said that.
Yeah, I got one too. Man, we've been going already 40 minutes. Yeah. Did you want to get yours first? I got mine right here.
Yeah, let me grab this first. This is Jeremiah 16:14. Therefore, behold, the days cometh, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them. And I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. So, hey, in ancient time, hey, like you were describing, like the Most High Yahweh, he made his presence known. He made his name known by his deliverance. But the deliverance that's going to happen now, when Yahweh Shai returns and gathers his elect from the four corners of the globe, and chiefly the North Country in the Scriptures, but AKA America, North America, it's going to outshine the Old Testament deliverance. The Exodus. The Egyptian Exodus.
God. Absolutely.
And that not to like take anything away from the Egyptian Exodus, because that was a magnificent work, but just to really magnify the gravity of this next deliverance. Like it's mind-boggling to think that something's going to outshine that. Like
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it's coming, and everybody's gonna see, like the scriptures say. Oh dang, do we even get that in Revelation 1:7?
I don't think so.
Oh snap. Okay, I got it right here. If you want, I can pull it.
Come on.
Okay, it's Revelation chapter 1:7. It says, "Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all the kindreds of the earth shall bow. Excuse me, and all the kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen." So it says he cometh with clouds. What does that mean? He's coming in the backup precept to that. What was that? Did we read? Okay, yeah, we read Psalms 104, and then also, damn, what was the other one I just had? Oh, right, Psalms 34:7. It says, "The angel of Yahweh, Bashem Yahshai, encampeth round about them that fear him, and delivereth them." So anytime that deliverance is being talked about, okay, you're gonna probably be having some terrorists involved, man, more than likely, because that's what the vehicles is going to be used to overpower Esau's, his army. We got to remember, this is Esau's army that's supporting on this. This ain't, Esau looking, bro. He got his eyes out there looking at the sky and seeing and recording.
Yeah.
People are seeing, like, okay, that's why Donald Trump made the Space Force. But what point is there to have that branch of the military in space if there is no threat?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Exactly.
and I have family members that serve, and they're basically saying like, yeah, well, unless there's like some top secret special forces, which most likely there is, that might have aircrafts that go up, to some outer layer where right above right below the Van Allen radiation belt or something. But from what they're explaining to me is that the Space Force really they're not training anybody to like go out into space.
No,
They're it's really just monitoring, activity out there, just sending up more satellites and cameras just to look and observe all the
because what
time.
can he do? He's already tried, bro. He's already tried to shoot at the chariots, bro. You know what I'm saying? He already tried to blast his way, like you said, past the Van Allen belt. He already tried to blow up certain stuff, and now he just, after he figured out he can't escape this mug, like, well, shit, we just gonna lie and say we went there.
Mm-hmm.
After you
Hey,
pass the, oh, Slack, go on.
No, just like he's gonna lie and say we can fight these off and stir up the troops to go fight Yahushua. His pride deceives him, man. He's prideful.
Yeah, I was gonna say, after you get past the Earth's atmosphere, above the clouds, yeah, you have a period of space where you can float around and see the Earth from a bird's eye view, so to speak. But like the brother saying, you ain't gonna be able to go. Esau ain't, he got these pictures. If you go to, NASA or whatever, they'll come up with a clear image of Pluto, taken from Discovery that was launched in 2003. Finally got there. It took 20 years to get there, but the pictures are damn CGI, man, because he's keeping the lie going. Okay, you can't get past the Van Allen belt. The radiation is too thick. You can't send communications through radiation that thick. You can't have any living thing go through there. If you want to have a level of a layer of lead thick enough to be able to pass it, you're not going to be able to get it off the ground because lead is too dense in the atmosphere. So there's no way that Esau going to get away around not being able to escape. He can't get out of the earth, man. But the devil has tried. He's setting his nest in the stars, bro. This man is crazy, bro. That's why the Most High is going to send Yahushua to take this man out, because he got to the end of the game, but he can't beat it. He's done discovered a whole bunch of stuff. He still haven't discovered the depths of the earth. He still calls himself mapping out the stars. He don't understand that he's not going to get it, bro. He's not going to come around. Esau's not going to make it. He has to be extinguished out of the situation, out of the equation. And once our people really get that in their head, which they're not really going to fully get it, all of our people are not going to fully get it ultimately to the kingdom. Okay, but hey, man, the elect, they waking up, man. They have the understanding to be able to internalize the information that we're providing to them and say, wow, these scriptures can't be ignored. Wow, that's in the Bible. That's in the Bible, man. I didn't know that was in the news. I didn't know that was real. Dang, I never seen this video. To the point where you can't deny it.
Oh yeah. It's like a scripture just popped in my head.
Which one?
Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter.
Let's see.
Just verse 2.
Okay.
It says, Wisdom of Solomon 5:2. It says, when they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they looked for. Because the elect, when they wake up to it, it was strange to us, hearing it, but it made, like, we believed it by the faith that was given unto us by Yahweh Shemashah. And for the ones that want to rebel against this truth, they want to believe lies. Hey, when it happens, that's when it's really going to set in, like, dang, like, so far beyond, what they believed.
Yep. Yep. Because they believe that we're a bunch of losers and people that's not worthy of, even being equal to them. Imagine it. We would be so-called equal if Esau said, okay, you know what, y'all can be equal. So started treating us equal and all that. But he don't even look at us as equal, bro. So he gonna look at the people who he believes is lesser than him get delivered up. And the 2/3 are gonna see it too. They're gonna see because they're gonna suffer the same fate as Esau. They're gonna be looking dumb as hell when they because they didn't want to listen to their cousin that was telling them for, 7 years. Hey man, put that pork down, man. It's in the scriptures. Hey man, the mark of the beast is the RFID chip, right? Hey, Esau is self-proclaimed white man. Hey, bro, we're the Israelites, man. The Most High name is Yahweh. The people that put that off and put that off and put that off and put that off, those gonna be the same ones as looking at those at the men who they looked at as, oh, he tripping. Then they don't count their labels because we putting in the work.
Yeah, and another little point that I wanted to make was, by Esau's own psychology, he says that a superiority complex is really just a coping mechanism of an inferiority complex. So those that try to look down on us and call them like we're less than nothing, we're less than them, that's really just a lie that they tell themselves, because Esau knows we're better than them, physically, spiritually. We're chosen, like we're the Most High's chosen people, athletically, smarter, come up with all the inventions. We've been beaten down for so long and he still can't get rid of us.
Like, man, imagine that, bro. Esau is going crazy, man.
Hey, well, imagine when he sets off the nukes and then all of a sudden chariots show up out of nowhere and delivers them. It's gonna be like, fuck.
Man, he's like, damn, all this work that I put in for nothing.
Yeah.
But it's to no avail at the end of the day. It's pointless for him to try to fight against it. But like the scriptures say, he was so afraid, but they had to do his fight, So, we might as well try, but it's pointless.
God, he's really trying because that's the spirit that the Most High put him. It's really about the Lord magnifying his power that he has.
Yep. Just like how he did it in Pharaoh. He hardened Pharaoh's heart. Oh, you got that.
Yeah, because there's like like atheist. There's like an atheist question to try to fool like believers, and they said, well, like if can God create a boulder large enough where he can't even lift it?
What?
And the answer to it is if he wants to. It's that simple. Because like he'll build up a kingdom as big as he wants it just so he can crumble it.
Yeah.
And that's what he did with Pharaoh, like you said, and that's what he's doing with Esau. And then also he can create a big enough boulder to where no one can crush it, like he did with the Israelites.
But why would they even ask that question? It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. It's like,
but just it's foolishness.
Oh, sloppy. This is right. No, you good. Go ahead. I'm listening.
But it's just foolishness, like the vain, philosophies and shit. They're trying to battle like the one God theory. They rather believe in like two gods that are equally opposed, rather than one God over everything that controls good and evil.
Yeah, Esau just bugged out, man. Anybody who's following him is also bugged. Yeah. Christians, all that stuff. But yeah, bro, I pretty much brought out everything. I think you said that you wanted to get one more, or which one did we not bring out?
We didn't get the account in Acts.
Okay.
Where Yahushua got beamed up, which I'll just get to the point. It's Acts 1:11. It says, actually, yeah, it says which.
Verse 9, I think, will be good.
Okay. We'll get Acts 1:9. It says, and when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel, which also said, Ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? This same Yahushua, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall so come in like manner as ye have seen him go into heaven. So Yahushua got beamed up in the clouds, and the two men in white apparel, which were angels, they said unto all the men of Galilee that were, wide-eyed and jaw dropped, say, hey man, like same one that got beamed up, he's coming back in the same manner. You know, the same whip that he's riding on the way out is the one that he's coming back with to save y'all.
Or it might be a different one, but it's gonna be the same
Yeah,
fashion.
yeah, same fashion.
Same fashion, you know. So
he's gonna be whipping regardless.
Yep. And 2,000 years of Esau's improving the technology, or they want to say, okay, you started the Renaissance or whatever. Okay, you know, however, several hundred years of improving your technology still ain't gonna be nothing compared to what the Lord got, man. And even if this place was to continue on for 1,000,000 years, you would never get there. Okay. But it's not even gonna. This is the future. That's another thing. I'm gonna just leave it after I say this, you know. But people don't think that this is the future, man. We're in the future according to the scriptures. This is at the end of the timeline. People think, oh yeah, we're in the now, we're in the now, we're in the now. Yeah, but what about what the Lord has planned? Eventually, it's gonna come. Eventually, it's gonna come to pass, man.
Yeah, because Yahushua's birth was talked about like in Genesis. Really, his second return was talked about in Genesis. You know, and yeah, when they were being fulfilled, you still had naysayers. You know, when Yahushua was performing miracles in front of people, scoffers were still saying, "Oh, he does it by the means of Beelzebub." So I mean, you're gonna have scoffers while brothers are getting beamed up. they're still gonna be bugged out. So hey, I mean, it is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. Yeah.
Pretty much all I had, bro.
Yeah, we can wrap it up. The brother posted some a good scripture, Revelation 12:7. It says, "And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon." And the dragon is talking about Esau's government structure. "And the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not, neither was there a place found any more in heaven." You know, because, hey, how about Shemal Shah's army, you know, heavenly host, is going to prevail, like we've been breaking down. But, yeah, you want to close this out?
Yeah, that's pretty much it, bro. I mean, I think we touched on all the points. You know, Bible Kushab brothers. You know, let's tune in. You know, click the link in the description so that you can see that video. I'm trying to remember which news outlet it was.
Today.
It was today. This is a 3-minute video. It's titled "Pentagon's UFO investigation spotlighted in new photos and videos." It was posted a month ago, and Esau don't know what to do, man. Esau does not. He's scrambling, bro. He's on his last leg.
Hey, they say that's why he went ahead and declassified it, was because they came to the conclusion that withdrawing all they're saying, like, withdrawing all the information that they had was really shooting themselves in the foot, because they were discovering more. They were pretty much discovering that they had more questions than they had answers with all this stuff. So they were like, okay, well, if any input would help us. Hey, man, Esau, this is your answer. That's Yahushua coming back with his angels, coming to destroy your ass. So,
and Esau be trying to act like that's not what it is, try to come figure out something else. Like, bro, that's what it is, bro.
That's what it is.
You know, there had to be some scientific explanation for this. No, man, because, you know, he called it unidentified aerial phenomenon. He calls it a phenomenon. Stuff twinkling and disappearing, and, you know, UAP. You can keep changing the name to anything you want to. Hey, man, it's coming back to bite you in the ass, man, for messing with the Israelites. Okay, scriptures talk about how Israel is the apple of the Most High's eye, man, and he's sore displeased with the heathen that are round about. Zechariah, the 2nd chapter. But anyway, like you said, bro, you know, pretty much touched on everything. Did you have any closing points or anything like that?
Nah.
Okay, kind of. Well, Lobo, and this is edifying. With that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Hakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the elect. Shalom.
Shalom.